Hey, and what I want to talk to you guys about today is something called min-maxing. Now, this is a concept very well known in MMOs, but when it comes to Destiny, which isn't quite an MMO, well, it has that feel to it, but you know what I'm talking about. So, what min-maxing is you get your weakest stats. For example, I value strength the least out of everything, and you try to keep those low, and you try to make your higher stats, discipline, intellect in my case, as high as you possibly can. So, keep your weak stats at a minimum, keep your best stats at a maximum. That's a vague overview of what min-maxing is. So what you're seeing right here is my main loadout for anything I do in PvE. I have my Willbreaker's Watch helmet, my Ruin Wings, Willbreaker's Resolve, and Willbreaker's Greaves. Now the reason I like these is because it gives me a nice well-rounded set of stats. My intellect is fairly high, my discipline is pretty much equal, and my strength is, you know, it's not too great, but it's enough strength to see a difference. Now what these stats do is they will reduce the cooldown times of your intellect, intellect will reduce the cooldown times of your supers, discipline will do for your grenades, and strength will do it for your melee. So, for example, my Fist of Havoc will charge much faster with a 78% intellect as opposed to a 0 or a 25. Same thing with discipline, and same thing with strength. Discipline, if you have maxed out, you can get grenades every 30 seconds, you'll get a grenade. So, you really want to localize your stats with what you're doing. For PvP, personally, I prefer more grenades, so usually I'll switch off and I'll run my Armamentarium. And that really gives me discipline heavy, but anything over, I believe it's like 280 around there, discipline, it maxes out. So all this extra discipline, I can, what's the word for it? I can share it among my other stats. And PvP, I really don't use Overcharge too much since I run Striker, so Overcharge would be, where is it? Or Overload, this one right here. I don't really care much for my melee, so I'm not really going to focus on that one because Titans have Shoulder Charge. That's our one-hit kill. Stormfist doesn't get a one-hit kill, so it's not really too great. Don't really have to worry about it. So I'm going to try to focus my attributes on intellect while not lowering my discipline too far down. So right here, I have full intellect on my Willbreaker's Fist, so that's fine. I don't want to mess with that. But on my helmet, I have intellect and discipline. And since I will be playing PvP in this scenario, I won't really have to worry about, getting health by picking up an orb. I can just focus on shoulder charge and transfusion for that. So I can just go ahead and pick my helmet that has the highest intellect, which is this one right here, and I can sit at a nice 82 intellect and 100 discipline. And right now, I'm kind of trying to work on a way to get this up a little bit higher, but still, I will have to get some pretty good rolls on my helmet and arms to get that maxed out, which I can come pretty close, but it's not really too great of a loadout in my opinion. Now if I'm doing the Crota encounter, of course I'll probably go back to what I was using before, just because the perks on your things, on your items, will most likely come into play more often than you want your stats. Now for the Crota encounter, I will be dropping bubble shields fairly often, but I will usually be using Ruin Wings because of the extra heavy ammo drops. And I don't really do the heavy ammo glitch too much, but I have enough synthesis. But Ruin Wings help me, they back me up in case I don't have that drop coming in regularly. Now, if I just want to mess around and I want to max out my stats as best as I can, I believe this is the way I do it. So let me see, intellect and discipline. So yeah, I can hit a nice 96 intellect and 100% discipline. So this would also be a decent way for me to run around in PvE. I don't really care for it too much because I like the Ruin Wings better just because they drop more heavy more often. But if I were to need to do something like the heavy ammo glitch so I have plenty of ammo, this would probably be the possible best way that I can run either one of my Titans. Just because I have a nice steady flow of grenades, my supers are nice and even. But again, this mainly will come to play when you're playing solo. If you're playing with the team, then you can really change up how you want to do things. For example, if we're running the Abyss. Now I'm a Defender Titan, so I usually just go straight on with this, and I have my Helm of Saint 14 with Defender, that way I can blind anything that goes through the bubble. Now you see right here I'm heavily stacked on intellect, and I want to add some discipline. So I can just go into one of my arms, because these have the most diversity of all my stats. I can throw on those, 99 intellect and 93 discipline. So that really helps me out there, but if I were using a different class, like let's say I was using a Warlock, Nova Bomb, then I probably don't need, I could probably just run Obsidian Mind, and I could really have my stats doing whatever they want. I'll just throw on these random things just for the heck of it, just to see what happens. And you see my intellect would be low, discipline would be low, my strength would be pretty high. Now with Warlocks, strength matters a little bit more because they have things like energy drain, they have their, I believe it's called solar shield. I'm not entirely too sure what it is. When they melee you and they get a shield, I'm not too sure what Warlocks call it. But just because with Nova Bomb and Obsidian Mine, with that combination, you can easily get your supers back very quickly. So at that point, you wouldn't even have to worry about exactly what your intellect stat is. And you can really allocate your attributes wherever you need to. As for Hunters, you guys will probably pretty much want the same thing that I run with my Titan, which is high intellect and discipline, where your throwing knives really, you don't use them too often, especially in PvE, but when it comes to PvP, they might be a bit more useful. You might want to allocate some strength for that, but generally I see Hunters using their guns more than anything else. The throwing knives are usually just in, just if they're out of bullets, they don't have reload, they can toss quick throwing knives, so they're not using it too often. Yeah, guys, that's the video for today. I just wanted to go over something very simple. Hopefully it was informative for you guys. I stuttered there, I apologize. And yeah, let me know if I left anything out. Let me know in the comments section what you wanted to add to this, and if I have to, I'll make a revised edit to this later. So yeah, guys, if you enjoyed it, please like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. I really appreciate the support. Y'all have a nice day, and I hope you get to min-maxing your stats and just focusing on preparation for the next DLC, because you don't know what kind of stats you'll need, you don't know what kind of weapons you'll need, so try to focus on getting everything you possibly can now, just so you can have it later. You won't need to worry about anything, really. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Sorry I rambled on at the end there. You have a nice day, and thank you.